And you see that patented flip throw, and that one just slipped out of the hands. And you rarely see that from Zerbel, but on a wet day, when that ball hits the ground, and it is, as we said, it has rained a lot in the last 48 hours, Lipscomb will now throw it in.
Yeah, I think that's the first time we've seen that all year. I don't know how dangerous it is.
And you saw a moment ago, you saw Kate Mason bobble a ball that was floating right there at the front of the net. And then you see Zerbel doing things, and you say, well, you probably haven't seen that all season long. Things like that happen when teams get into NCAA tournament play, especially in the first couple of minutes when they kind of shake the nerves out, let the game kind of come to them a little bit. But early on, they know the importance of this match and how history being made for both squads and both programs this afternoon here in Starkville.
Absolutely. It's one and done. You go home, season is over if you do not win this game. I can't imagine the nerves out there today.
Bison will throw it in. Lipscomb, this is the second match this year the Bison have played against an SEC school. They won earlier this season at home against Kentucky 2-1. Inside the 18 now, here's McKee. And the header is wide.
Oh, Hernandez is going to want that one back. But as we said earlier, McKee has the ability to set other players up. She has a nice cross in to Olivia Hernandez, who's just on top of this 6 and just couldn't redirect that on frame.
Lipscomb getting to this point as they won their first ever ASUN tournament title. They beat 6th-seeded North Alabama 3-2 in the championship game. We talked about Olivia Doak being the conference player of the year. She had 2 goals in that match. And Lipscomb won its final 6 matches of the season. And as we talked about, the nemesis for this team has been Florida Gulf Coast, who's knocked off Lipscomb the last 3 years in the ASUN tournament. Right on the edge of the 18, headed away by State. But this year, winning against Florida Gulf Coast in the semifinals, that's what clinched it for Lipscomb this season, because North Alabama is in their first year of playing in Division I, so they are ineligible for NCAA postseason play. And so rarely can you have a celebration after a semifinal win, but that's what Lipscomb could do, and they could kind of play with ease in that championship game, knowing they were going to get to this point. As you see number 23.
Yeah, but I'm sure after being to the ASUN championship, I think 4 years in a row, they wanted to win it. Regardless of not whether they were coming to the NCAA tournament, they wanted to win that game. They wanted to be the champions.
State working in the back line, and this team under Tom Anagnos now in his second season, and the turnaround that Tom Anagnos has done here in Starkville is just nothing short of amazing.
Yes, in just 2 seasons, playing the strength of schedule that he's played and getting some of the results, especially the one against South Carolina, tying a good Florida, a good Arkansas team this year, and just obviously finishing with the RPI, beating top 20 teams. He's done an excellent job with this program.
And he saw the ball hit the post in the far corner. It kicked to the sideline, and that's the difference in the throw-in versus a corner kick. And here comes the throw-in, which is sometimes as successful, but Mississippi State with Zerbel, she won't take the flip throw this time. Right on the edge of the 18. Bulldogs have had more opportunities here early on.
Nice pressure by the Lipscomb forward to not allow Carrasco to get that serve off. I'm sure Coach O'Brien addressed that, knowing that Mississippi State likes to play direct and play long balls into the 18. He probably wants to deny a lot of the services that come from closer to the midfield.
And here come the Bulldogs racing. McGilvery in the middle. Off the right flank. And trying to cross, there was Tyrell. And just wide left.
And you can see how crowded it gets inside that 6-yard box. Everybody's on top of that keeper. I'm not sure how used to that she is. Just didn't get a clear look to punch that. Obviously, she hit it wide, but I'm sure that's not as clear of a punch as she would have liked to have on that ball.
Here comes State coming again. Nia Johnson, number 14.
I feel like Mississippi State has been hit or miss this year. There have been games, that last game against LSU, outshot them around 28-8 and just couldn't get any shots on frame, couldn't really get on the end of any services, and ended up very frustrated and only scoring 1 goal that game and losing 2-1. And then we've seen them against an Alabama where they put 5 goals away on a similar game that they're dominating. So really that's why we said the forwards are huge for Mississippi State today, them getting shots on frame and finding a way to get that ball in the back of the net.
Well, looking back to that 2-1 loss against LSU, State needed to win that match. And had they won that match, they would have claimed a spot into the SEC tournament. This team missed the SEC tournament.
And then having them watch and see LSU go on to win the tournament, I'm sure was a little bit frustrating for them, knowing how they played against that team in the last game of the regular season.
In that match, it was almost like you were inventing ways not to score because you had so many chances. And you could see that frustration mounting because you could see it on every player, the coaches, everyone's face of those are shots that normally would go in and chips that would somehow find the net that were going wide and high.
Oh, and I think when Robichaux hit the crossbar for the second time, that game, it was just, you could almost see the air go out of them like this is not meant to be today.
And that was back on October the 25th, which was the last time that State has played. And Christy, the thing we haven't talked about, with Lipscomb playing last week in the ASUN tournament, Mississippi State's had a little bit of time to breathe and take a step back before getting ready for this match. I know you want to be crisp and working on your attack, but it also, at the end of the day, it may be a good thing of getting those 2 weeks of rest.
Yeah, and allow for some healing, for some injuries that had occurred. I mean, the SEC this year was brutal for the Bulldogs. So, and then to have to play in the SEC tournament, it'll be interesting to see how LSU and Arkansas do in these first rounds.
Sliding tackle.
Having come off the tournament.
This is a physical Lipscomb team. But that is textbook with that sliding tackle. Popped it just away from Michaela Waldner. And now DeCrane will handle.
Well, having spoke with Coach O'Brien leading into this game, he addressed with his team how physical this game was to be. He said, expect the bumps and bruises. Don't think you're going to walk away from this game not having known you played. Here you have Olivia Doak and Chase against Zerbel.
Doak's going to get to it in the corner. Waiting for the cross opportunity, and here it comes. On the offside, great job Mississippi State defensively. And that was Nia Johnson defending well inside the 18.
It's a great service by Olivia Doug, looking like she really picked out her teammate, and Nia Johnson just getting goal side and a little bit jumped over that that last play.
And the thing about Doak you saw there was just the patience of letting everything set up.
She's a very composed player and very comfortable in many different situations. A lot of times you have forwards that like to do certain things, but she's a great all-around player. And she's probably one of the players for Lipscomb that can match the athleticism of some of the Mississippi State Bulldogs.
McGilvery tried it with the left foot, left it wide. Now a goal kick coming. 13 minutes deep here in Starkville, Mississippi, opening round of the NCAA tournament. The winner of this match will take on the winner of Duke and Rutgers. Duke, the 4th seed in this side of the bracket. We'll take a look later in the broadcast. All the SEC teams making the NCAA tournament. Record tying 9 teams from the SEC this season in the tournament. Riley DeCrane taking her time.
And there you saw Wildner slipping, and that's something that's going to happen today. The footing's just not going to be quite secure, and it'll be interesting to see if the goalkeepers can get a good push off if saves need to be made.
Robichaux back. Gets it across the touchline. You saw number 9, Olivia Doak, chasing after that pass.
She's got great pace. Robichaux is one of the